Welcome to Sheet Director. We're excited to introduce our innovative Google Workspace add-on. Simplify data exchange between apps with Sheet Director, query data, post info from Sheets to apps, and keep everything in sync. In this video, we will see how Sheet Director can help you to automate the integration between Google Sheets and Airtable. Let's launch Sheet Director and choose Airtable from the available list of applications. I will name the service as Airtable Query Service. I will then enter the personal access token to connect to the Airtable. I will then click on Connect to the Airtable. I will then select the base named Employee Directory. I'll then select the table named R&D. I will choose the required fields from the fields list. Additionally, I'll also set the max results to 100, limiting the Airtable records to 100. For the destination settings, I will select the R&D Sheet tab to present all the values from Airtable. By default, it begins from cell A1. Also, we have the option to create a new sheet by clicking on the plus icon. And turn on or off the Include Header and Clear Sheet before getting the records. I will proceed to execute by clicking on the Execute button. Upon successful execution, we can see that the chosen fields from the list are effectively brought from the Airtable and seamlessly presented within the selected sheet. Now, let's look at how to create Airtable records from Google Sheets. Now, let's make another service and name as Airtable Post Service for creating the records from the sheet. I will choose Post Service. Then I will select a specific base and table from the list. For the source settings, I will select the R&D Sheet tab to present all the values from Airtable. By default, it begins from cell A1. Selecting the source sheet will automatically show intelligent mapping. Click on Yes for intelligent mapping. For the result column settings, select the status and result from the dropdown or create from the plus icon. This mapping guides us on where to place the resulting information in the status and result columns. For the map settings, either opt for intelligent mapping or map each field manually. This mapping aligns the fields between the sheet and the Airtable columns. We can manually map by using the column dropdown. To create a new mapping, you can simply click on the plus icon. Deleting a field mapping is as easy as clicking the delete icon above each mapped field, except for mandatory fields. Now, I will proceed to execute by clicking on the Execute button. Initially, the status in the status column will be empty. Upon execution, the execution control panel will appear and tell us how many records are ready to post in the Airtable. At this point, we have two options, Post Now and Close. I will click on Post Now, which will create the records in the Airtable. After successful execution, each record will be updated individually in the status and result columns. You can also notice the links to the created Airtable record. Clicking on these links will allow us to view the newly created record. Let's prepare a new service named Airtable Sync. This synchronizes the records between Google Sheets and the Airtable. I will choose Synchronize as a service type. The synchronized service allows users to automatically synchronize the records between Google Sheets and the Airtable. I will pick a particular base and table from the list, and then select the necessary fields from the provided fields list. I will set the max results to 100, restricting to only 100 records. The synchronization process requires that synchronize keys to match rows in Google Sheets with corresponding data in the Airtable. You must select the synchronized keys in the fields list. It is essential to note that these keys are mandatory for the synchronization to occur. When there is a conflict between different data in Google Sheets and Airtable for the same records, either side needs to be overwritten to maintain synchronization. You can opt for either Airtable wins or Google Sheet wins to choose which data to keep. In the Airtable wins scenario, the most recent data from Airtable will overwrite and update the corresponding record in Google Sheets. On the other hand, in the Google Sheet wins, the most recent data from Google Sheets will overwrite and update the corresponding record in the Airtable. First, let me choose Google Sheet wins. Regarding the synchronization sheet, I will opt for the Sync Airtable Sheet tab, and by default, it will begin from cell A1. After configuring the settings, let us execute by clicking on the Execute button. The execution control panel will appear. If there are no records found in the Google Sheets to synchronize, then the Sheet Director will get the records for us. A prompt will appear, posing the question, "Your Google Sheets seems to be empty. Do you want to get the records from Airtable first?" At this point, two options will be presented, Get Now or Close. I will select the Get Now option, which will fetch the records from Airtable. If you already have Airtable data in Google Sheets, then you need to select or establish columns to display synchronization status and results. By clicking the plus symbol, I will add the status and result columns to the sheet, and make any necessary updates to update the records. I will update the first name of the record. Subsequently, I will click the Execute button. Upon successful execution, the Execution Control panel will reappear with synchronization details. Number of new records found in Airtable. Total records that are ready to synchronize from the Google Sheet. How many records will be updated in the Airtable from the total records? Additionally, it will be asked, "Are you okay to synchronize?" This query is accompanied by two buttons, Sync Now and Close. I will opt for the Sync Now button. Throughout the execution process, each record will be updated individually within the Airtable. Upon successful update, the status column in Google Sheets will depict the status of the data. Newly updated data will be marked as synced successfully, while pre-existing data will be indicated as already synchronized. Once the synchronization is successful, a link to the Airtable records will be provided. Clicking on this link will allow us to view the updated record. Now, let me choose Airtable Wins. Regarding the synchronization sheet, I will opt for the R&D Sheet tab, and by default, it will begin from cell A1. By clicking the plus symbol, I will add the status and result columns to the sheet. After configuring the settings, let us execute by clicking on the Execute button. Simultaneously, I will create a new record in the Airtable. Upon execution, the Execution Control panel will reappear with the synchronization details. How many new records are found in the Airtable? Total number of records that are ready to synchronize from the Google Sheet. How many records will be updated in the Google Sheet from the total records? Along with these details, I will also be asked, "Are you okay to synchronize?" I will again click on the Sync Now button to continue the synchronization. Throughout the successful execution process, each record will be updated individually. The status column in Google Sheets will depict the status of the records. Newly updated records will be marked as synced successfully, while pre-existing data will be indicated as already synchronized. Also, the new records will be fetched from the Airtable. Until this point, we observe the synchronization of Airtable records originating from cell A1. Now, let's modify the cell value to H7 and proceed with the synchronization process. Let's execute by clicking on the Execute button. The Execution Control panel will appear. If there are no records found in the Google Sheets to synchronize, then the Sheet Director will get the records for us. I will click on the Get Now button to get the Airtable records. If you already have Airtable data in Google Sheets, then you need to establish the status and result column for synchronization. Upon successful execution, the records will fetch from H7. By clicking the plus symbol, I will add the status and result columns to the sheet. Let's execute by clicking on the Execute button. Upon successful execution, the Execution Control panel will reappear with the synchronization details. Additionally, I will be asked, "Are you okay to synchronize?" I will click on the Sync Now button to continue the synchronization. After successful synchronization, you can see the status of each record individually in the Google Sheets. In this way, you can synchronize data from any part of your Google Sheets. Hence, utilizing Sheet Director makes it easy to query Airtable and display them in Google Sheets. Creating new Airtable records from Google Sheets, and finally keeping the information synchronized between the Google Sheets and Airtable. With Sheet Director, you effortlessly harness the magic of Airtable. Seamlessly query, display, and transform your Airtable data right within Google Sheets. Experience the future of organization and data synergy with the Sheet Director. Thanks for watching the video.